So we've got Gav Richardson, alias Dry Gav, named by me.
It's only you calls me Dry Gav.
I know. On show.
Hello.
And,
Hello.
And we're going to go from Gav's schooling, and we're going to find out what jobs he's done. And he's got an interesting career. So, Mr. Richardson, Dry Gav, which secondary school did you go to?
So I was born and raised in Mapwell, Barnsley. I am 41 years old. I've lived in my entire life, apart from 2 years, in Barnsley, and I went to Darton High School, which is a couple of miles away at local secondary school. So I messed about. I was good at school. So I said I liked science. I was good at everything, but I just never applied myself. I didn't really have a plan as to what I wanted to do after school. So I passed a couple of GCSEs, but I had to resit. I got like a few Ds, a couple of Cs. And I never really knew what I wanted to do. We had a careers officer, and I can remember his name now, Terry Clifford, he was called. And I can remember sitting, interview style, like everybody had an interview, and then he'd do like a planner, how you're going to get to where you're going to go. And I can just remember, what do you want to do? No idea. What do you like? So I went through, and like plan was for me were just A-levels, but there were no career at the end of it. It just says, right, when you've done here, go and do A-levels.
It's funny that, because this sounds like forerunner to basically everything what they're doing now, because now government want everybody to go into further education.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
So everybody goes there, apart from naughty ones.
Yeah.
Who they end up getting a trade.
They call them NEETs, don't they?
NEETs.
Not in education.
Naughty ones.
Well, people who don't do something after school. So they want everybody to do something now after school, don't they?
Isn't it compulsory that they go from?
They tried, yeah, but they can't make you do it.
Right.
So it's not in education.
But they've flooded. But what's happened is they've flooded universities now. So all places are full, and you have to pay and everything.
Yeah, that's universities. That's higher education. Further education's only 16 to 18. They want everybody from 16 to 18 to be doing some form of training, don't they?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you go into what I used to call sixth form college.
Yeah.
To get your A-levels to go to university. Yeah. Else, what's point in being there?
Well, they shut all sixth forms just as I started school, so there weren't any sixth forms, and now they're coming back.
Yeah.
As soon as you finish school, doors start shutting to you. They start shutting straight away. And I don't mean physical doors, obviously. I mean opportunities. Windows of opportunities start to get smaller to a point where, like, up until my 30s, I realised then you've got to start making your own opportunities. Then you've got to make your own opportunities then, because there's barely any left then. You've either got to spot your opportunities or you've got to make your own. And there was somebody who I used to work with, one of my part-time jobs, and he said, opportunity don't come knocking often, and when it does, it don't come kicking door down.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So I remember that.
You've got to watch out for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So luck is preparation and opportunity. So if you're prepared when that opportunity arises, then you can take it. So a lot of people go, I was on about this last night with a kid called Liam, and I always say, I'm lucky me.
It's not, but yeah.
I'm a lucky I'm a genuinely lucky person, and Liam was saying the same thing, and it's no coincidence that we both got a few quid.
Yeah.
Do you know why people who say they're lucky tend to win more things, and people who say they're not lucky don't win things?
Because they put themselves in there to win them, don't they?
It's simpler than that. What it is basically people who think they're lucky will buy a lottery ticket or will buy a raffle ticket.
Yeah.
People who don't think they're lucky, they'll not buy it.
Went through, resat my GCSEs, passed them, so that were a relief. I can remember walking out that day and thinking, yeah, you know, I felt good about that.
Every time, I don't know if you felt this way, but every time I've passed an exam or passed something, I've always got like quite euphoric about it. So
there is
driving test, not so much my GCSEs, because I was a bit like you. Well, I moonwalked them, and I'd
You did all right.
I've told you, no, but I've told you the thing before about they put me in CSEs rather than O levels, and that just killed me pig, and I stopped trying. But then obviously after school, there were certain exams that I tried for, like my surveying stuff and plastering and all these other exams that it is an achievement, and you do get, and your confidence levels go up as well.
It does. That's what I'd say. That euphoria, it's your confidence levels for a little bit. They go up. But...
What happened next then? So you've gone and done your nightclub.
Yeah.
What job are you doing?
So still at college, did GMVQ Advanced in IT because I'd sort of got into computers a bit by then. Computers were fairly new. Windows had just sort of come out. So I just thought it was something cool. I thought that there's going to be some money in here somewhere. It turns out there weren't. And then after that, I was going to do programming. And I was going to be a programmer. There were no formal training for web design. There were graphic design, but graphic design then weren't designing for web. So basically, your web designers were your graphic designers as well. Yeah. And we've all seen, well, if you're a certain age, early incarnations of websites. They were horrible. They were horrible, weren't they? They were
one page. It was just pictures on.
It was just people messing around on computers, finding out what they could do, and that's basically what I did. I did my first one for my brother's damp company, AB Basements. Yeah, that was my first paid job. And it took me ages.
You've took like food off my kid's plate.
Probably, yeah.
He's
doing well. He's doing well. He's a year booked up ahead. AB Basements in Sheffield. Free plug there. Can you imagine that?
I know.
You'd heard of him as well, hadn't you? Before we started doing this.
He's not got my qualifications.
Andrew Tester. Don't need it. Birds par notes instead.
Well, something we've got in common.
Yeah. So I had my first paid job doing that. So I came out, immediately looked for a job. I think my father was getting a bit impatient with me then as well. I'd done like 4 years of college by that time, maybe even 5. And then I thought, right, I'll get a job to tide me over, and I got a job in a call centre, picking up phones for a catalogue company. And that was boring. I used to start 6 hours a day. I used to work evening shifts, so it was like, it'd be about 7 or 8 hours. So it was like 1 or 2 o'clock till 9 o'clock at night.
So when I imagine a call centre like that, because I've heard stories from it. It reminds me of, like these Vikings in a boat. You've got one bloke, like you got somebody on drums.
Do you know what? It weren't that bad. They had banks of tables. There were 6, but call centre. They never did that. Oh, they never did that. Right. So it was before that. They weren't that bad. But Jesus, you had these. It were a bit soul destroying because I'd just come out. I'd had euphoric feeling again. I just had a couple of paid jobs. I'm on my way now. And then it just dried up completely. And then I was working really rubbish hours. So they weren't sociable. I couldn't really go out. I was working Saturday nights. So I had football, like my football. I used to have to finish football on a Saturday after and then like rush to work. And then Sundays I'd have with lads. I used to only ever see anybody on a Sunday, but I was working. So it's that thing in my head that you've always got to be working. And you used to sit in these call centres, and because I were on the evening shift, you might be sat on your own. There might only be like 20 people in this massive room, and it was scruffy. All keyboards were grimy as old, and they were just terminals basically. You were just keying in numbers.
Yeah.
Internet's taken it away now. It's gone now, and that were in Lupsey in Wakefield. So that was my first paid job. Did that for probably about 8 months, and then a job came up, and it were like at their head office, which were in Bradford, Canal Street. Or Canal, it's not Canal Road. Canal Road's red light district, in it.
It is. I think it's Canal Street.
Canal Street is in, and that were for text management. It were a programming. It were roughly a programming job. It were data type job. So I'd done this job anyway to tide me over. So all the while, it were never like a career choice. It were a let's make some money now. I've not made much money over the last couple of years. I want to make some money until something else comes along. So I were applying for jobs all the time. There were no internet job searches then, so everything were paper or prospective. So sending letters to people. I used to print letters off, and I used to send them around to design agencies.
Yeah.
And not one of them ever got back to me. I spent good money on them, not even one, just to say, thanks, we ain't got out for you at this time. I were enthusiastic. I'd have done sweeping floors.
Yeah, if anybody applies for a job with me, if they send emails, and I always reply.
You always reply, but you always do it with YouTube.
It's easier with an email, though, isn't it?
It is easier, but I'd have taken an email.
Yeah.
I mean, I had all my contact details.
Right.
Even a phone call. I've got it.
Just
for
manners, innit? You know what I mean? Even just say, we'll put your name on record.
Obviously, and at that time, I think market was saturated. There weren't many design agencies, but there were a lot of people wanting to get into design agencies. And now I think there's actually a shortfall. I think it's gone opposite way.
Right.
So dot-com boom had already happened. A lot of people lost their jobs afterwards. So a lot of areas shrunk. So anyway, this programming job came up, text management, and basically what it was were picking out from databases, picking out customer details, and then making sure that on these great big printers that we were doing, sending out promotions on, making sure that the details came out properly and were printed properly. So some of the jobs that I used to do, you might get your new catalogue, and up front of it you'll have like, hello Sam, take £10 on this first offer.
Yeah.
You get basically junk mail you get through post, but it were making sure that the customer details were correct on them, and there might be 600,000 records, and all data were in like strings. So a string is just a really long. So there might be one record, but the entire customer details might be on there. But you only needed name, address, first name and title. So what I had to do was create these like records, so that when we were programming them into print, the computer and the printer knew which bits of data to pull out. So it sounds quite complex. It weren't that complex. It were more like being thorough.
When I were younger, people got paid on a Friday, and when you got paid, you were happy, weren't you?
Yeah.
Like money went back.
Oh yeah, we used to call it king for a day.
Yeah, but when I started plastering as self-employed, you got paid in different. So I might do a job in 3 days.
So you'll have these little wins all the time, won't you?
Yeah. So you gain them all the time. So that kind of waiting while Friday sort of goes.
Yeah.
And then, but more I've done things. Like I find that all different projects that I'm doing now, that gives you like a sense of achievement anyway. So, it's the journey that you're on doing it.
So yeah, I suppose reason I stayed with it for so long was, and I didn't just. Older me now, if I'd have had a word with younger me, I'd have said, look, just take it and find something you want to do and just do it. I think I was terrified at. I was like sort of mid-20s by then. I think I thought I were already of it ill for learning stuff.
Yeah.
I should have just picked something, and there's other bit. Like if ever I get some money, I want to do a degree in philosophy or some sort of maybe a psychology degree, because that's something else I'm interested in. I should have picked something I were interested in and done that rather than just do something that you thought we're going to make money. But
you're talking as if like you can't do it, as if it's.
Oh, I know, yeah.
But you can do if you want.
I've got kids on it at minute, so time's limited at the moment. So this is me sort of my bucket list type thing that.
Yeah, if I were you, I'd start by.
And people.
Yeah, I'd start by just downloading audiobooks.
Well, I have started.
And then start listening.
Yeah.
And then you've got a jump start when you.
I think Mo, who's been on here, he's one of my friends, Miles, who owns his own business and is absolutely flying now. Me and him were in a similar sort of situation at that time, and he's done what. He's gone ahead and he's worked and.
But Mo kind of got into stuff kind of by accident.
Exactly, just like me. Podcast, just like me.
So if you go back listen to
Miles McDermott's
podcast, you'll hear that he kind of got into stuff by accident but did well at everything he did.
So me and him had sort of a parallel route at time. We both had jobs that we hated. He were working in Leeds at the time. In fact, no, he were working at Morrison's, which were also in Bradford. So me and him used to meet occasionally. Well, it'd be highlighter a week or something like that, or he'd give me a lift home or something. And we both just hated his jobs. And then I were like 5 years in, and then came in one day, and then we had a meeting, a like entire meeting, and it had never happened before. Before I go that, I managed to start gaining with IT a lot, so I thought there were opportunities for promotion there. IT crowd, yeah. So around Millennium Book time, there were a lot of work on. I tried to get in with IT crowd there, and I can always remember one of the stories. While we were there, were I were helping out on help desk, so just picking up phones. There was a short one. And so this were like me trying to find. I always try and find angles wherever I am, to sort of better my position. I tried to get in with graphic designers, but I got stitched up with that one. I'm not going to talk about it, but got a phone call. Oh, computers are not working. So usual spiel. Have you tried to do it off and on again? And then all switchboard just went red. It was like a Friday afternoon. And like Friday afternoons, everybody, like most places, if you can get away, you'd get you sent off. So it was quiet. And it was like, it's Friday afternoon. All switchboard just went red. Like call after call after call. And I rung one of the senior engineers up. I said, phones are going mental here. I said, something's gone wrong. Network's gone down. I can't get onto my computers. Can't get any of my files. Tried switching it off and on again. No. He says, so he came down, fella. He used to show me stuff, so he'd be like, come on, we'll go to the server room. So server room were a room like this that we're in today, Sam. So we're in Sam's basement. It had just row upon row of server stacks. So computer, you've seen them, computer rooms, super cooled, stored all data on there. And we opened door, and smoke was just billowing out of this. But what's going on in here? Like, normally it should be freezing in there, and it was like a red hot blast just hit us out. What's going on here? Like, it's melted, like servers were melting down. Anyway, we went in, and it were an old building that we were in. It were an old mill, so it had been studded out, like you would, and they'd stood at ceiling as well. So it was originally quite a nice ceiling, but they dropped ceiling down. And they've been doing some work. It was either next door or above. They've been doing some pipe work, and they've been doing some welding, but they didn't realise they were above. Above server room. So this bloke who were doing, he weren't welding. He were grinding. He were grinding these pipes off.
So sparks
had dripped down and gone through ceiling, set ceiling on fire, and then all plasterboard and that were just dripping off onto servers. Everything went down. Like, what's going on here? He went absolutely bad engineering. He just went like that. He just went. His face went sheet white. I weren't involved in it, so I weren't bothered. And I could just tell he looked like he was going to be sick.
Well, it's had all information on as well.
Everything, mate. It was a multi-million-pound business, and this is where they did all the backups and stuff.
Well, luckily, they'll have backed other people's stuff up.
Yeah, so luckily what they did was, it was still at time. Now, you tend to have auto backups and they go somewhere else. They still did what were called as tape backups on an evening, so everything got put onto a tape, and then it got driven to another data center somewhere else, and that were done every day or once a week or something like that. So if you lost your data, you'd only lose a week's worth of something. But I've never seen anybody go as white in me like, or as green in me. Like, he were white and green at the same time. Poor fella. He were absolutely, and we laughed about it.
Shock.
Laughed about it days after, but he could tell he didn't know what he were going to do. He weren't that high up, but it was his job to look after, and it weren't his fault.
Yeah.
But I knew he were going to have to have a phone call with CEO or whatever at some point and explain what had happened. And then obviously they were losing money at the time as well. So, but they fixed it fairly quick. But yeah, that one of me more interesting after a lot of mundane jobs. But then one day we came in and it was like, we've got a meeting of it. road at this hotel. And there's me, naive 20-something me, like, oh, something's going on here. It's, it could be all, I didn't think, there were no pit of despair. Everybody else were like serious and that, there's obviously something going off here. Anyway, it turned out that they were went in, CEO came in, were losing money left, right and centre. There were a French company who bought an English catalogue that basically absorbed them, but all they wanted to do really was get, and data is money. Yeah. All they wanted really were customer details for old catalogue. This was before GDPR.
Yeah.
So they could get all their details and then sell them their other stuff.
Yeah.
So basically what they were telling us was the shutting English side at business down at the door that they bought. And they were making 700 people redundant. So at time, I weren't even worried. It didn't bother me. But I came out of work that day, like, I think it must have been a Monday. I might have been like you are today, Sam. Edward all over the place. And I come out, and then a bloke sticks a mic in front of me. Hello, it's so-and-so from Look North. How do you feel about redundancies? And I just went, well, we're not happy about it, are we? And then just wandered off, and then got home, and phone was going off. Just seen you on Look North, pal. Just seen you on Look North. So I was on Look North for 20 seconds or something. And so came back in day after, and then like we were talking about stuff, and then it were like redundancies. It's 1:15. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll round this and then we'll do it. So I came in day after. Obviously, there were loads of people worried that got mortgages. Didn't make any difference to me. I wouldn't really bother. I thought this is push that I need here. So does anybody want to have take voluntary redundancy? It'll be enhanced redundancy. So basically, it's going to be better than if you didn't take it. Our team, I think there were a team of 5. They wanted to get rid of one of us. I just went, I'll do it straight away. And I could tell the rest of them were real, like, they were women. They all had mortgages.
Yeah.
My boss, she took redundancy. She'd worked there for ages. I think she got about £500,000. So it was good. I'm not sure if she got that much. She got a lot. She got a lot of money. No, it can't be £500,000. She got a lot of money. She was due to retire anyway.
Yeah.
So she were up on that, and I think she were on final salary as well. So she got it, and then there were 2 other fellas who were opposite. They were fairly old. Andrew, his ex-wife, were that woman who got shot. That police woman, in Bradford. Can you remember Bradford shootings? His ex-wife, and it had just happened. Actually, it had not been long. He took it. And then there were another bloke who took it, and I think he went on to be a school teacher after that. So we were people who didn't really want to be there anyway, but took it. I still worked. So basically they said, fine, here's your redundancy offer. I was like, that's not bad. 6 months worth of pay I think I got after it. So at worst, I've got 6 months to get a job here. So I was like, I'll take that. And then what they did was, they said they'll put you on notice. So they were working out who were going to go. And everybody just didn't go at once. So at that time, I was still working I was still carrying on as normal. And I weren't applying for jobs. And what I should have done if I'd have been clever.
Straight away.
I applied for a couple. But then and they had to let you out for interviews. What I should have done is I should have said I've got an interview a day, because I could have had days off all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, other 2 who were older than me, they were both in the 40s and 50s. They used to come in about 11 o'clock, have their breakfast upstairs, and then by the time boozer opened, they gut at boozer at 12, and then they'd roll back in at 4. There were a boozer about 100 yards away from where we were.
Just didn't do any work.
Just didn't do out.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are they getting away with this? My boss was still sat behind me, so I still had to do it.
Can they?
Exactly that, Sam. It were basically, well, let us go then. So, and
that's why they put people on gardening leave now.
They strung it out for 2 months at least. Yeah. They were still there when I left. I got a 2-week notice afterwards, and it was like, right, you've got 2 weeks to go now. And then you finished, and I can remember euphoric feeling coming out of there on my last day. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I've got something now. So Shall we round it up?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, at that time, Miles McDermott were laid off at the same time. Morrison's.
So you both laid off at the same time.
Me and him both laid off at the same time.
Right. We'll call time on that. And then
Sam needs to watch football. He's missed first half here.
Yeah. So
we said we were going to keep this short. It's not short again, is it?
I've enjoyed it, mate. I've enjoyed it. Like I said, everything's interesting, and we tend to go off on tangents.
We do, don't we?
So I hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, that's the end of part 1, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, if you've stuck with us, thank you, and we'll do it again next week. Sam's head will be a bit clearer as well. So
it will, yeah. I'll be a lot better.
Yeah, we'll see you again. Bye.